Hello, ladies, gentlemen, boys, and girls. I got this question up here. If you guys could ask me any questions about business or making money or even helping people, what would it be? And we got this great question from Ziva Main. How to turn a random viewer into a regular who trusts you if you make videos helping people. And I'm going to answer this question in terms of business, like if any of you guys have your own YouTube channel or you have your own product or service. But I'm also going to answer this in terms of dating. Like, how do you get someone, like if you're a guy and you want to date a woman, how do you get her to trust you? How do you get sexual partners that trust you? I think the first thing I'll say is actually kind of ironic and a little funny. The way that you turn a random viewer into a regular who trusts you, or the way that you get a woman to trust you, is ironically by not trying to. The harder you try and make someone trust you, the less they trust you. It's almost like you become really needy and clingy, and they're like, what are you trying to get from me? Why are you trying so hard to get me to trust you? A lot of guys have this approach with dating where they come across very like needy, very like desperate. They have like a scarcity mindset. They don't mean to, but they're trying to convince the woman to sleep with them. They're trying to convince her to like go back to his apartment. They're trying to like overcome their resistance and all of that sort of stuff. When you do that, especially if you do it in a very like pushy kind of way, you literally just come across as needy and people shut down, they withdraw, they feel unsafe around you. Especially women will feel a lot less safe around you if you're trying to get them to open up and trust you. So what you do instead is kind of the opposite. Rather than trying to like manipulate or force or get someone to trust you or get them to take their panties off for you, you see trust instead as an invitation. You basically say, I'm leaving the door open. You're very welcome to walk through if you want to. If you don't want to, that's okay. They either enter or they don't. That is the mindset that I have with all of you. I'm not trying to make you like me. I'm not trying to make you trust me. I'm not trying to make you give me money. If I do that, you get defensive. You wonder what I'm trying to get from you. You feel like you don't connect with me as much. So instead, what I do is I invite you. I speak my truth as I see it. I try and help you guys. If you want to watch the videos, I invite you to stick around. I don't say, I need you to like or subscribe, or I need you to send me money. I need you to sign up for the coaching. I did used to talk about that like 3 or 4 years ago, but in the last 3 or 4 years, no. I just invite you to watch the content. I invite you to sign up for coaching if you feel like it's right for you, or if you're not sure, I invite you to jump on a call with me, and we can have the same mindset with dating. It's none of our business if a woman trusts us. It's none of our fucking business if she wants to sleep with us. All we are doing is walking up to lots of different women, or maybe we do that on the dating app, and we're saying, hey, would you like to go on a date with me? Hey, I find you cute. Would you like to talk to me a little bit more? Hey, are you single? Do you want to get to know me? Hey, do you want to come back to my place and sleep with me? We are inviting them, and we are finding the ones who say yes. We are not trying to convince anyone to say yes. And one thing that I like to do to really put myself in that mindset, and at this point it's a habit, but this is how I built it at the start. I would literally think of the other person rather than myself. So with the content, I would think, how can I serve you guys? What questions do you guys have? What are you struggling with? I would think about you instead of thinking about growing. Instead of thinking, how do I make tons of money? How do I build a huge YouTube channel? Like, yes, you kind of have those thoughts in the back of your head sometimes, but I would then say, okay, I've thought about that a little bit. I've thought about myself. Good, brilliant. I know what I want. I want to make some more money. I want more viewers, all of that. Brilliant, good. Now focus on the fucking viewers. Focus on the people who might potentially give you money. What do they want? How can I be here for that one person who's struggling? How can I sit down with someone and say, hey, I'm present? The same thing in dating. Yes, you guys have goals, like you might want to go out there and have a lot of sex, or maybe you want a girlfriend, like whatever it is. Yes, think about yourself. I'm not saying neglect yourself. Think about yourself, figure out what you want, and then when you go out there to approach, or when you go on the dating apps, think about the other person. What does she want? How can I make her smile? How can I have a positive intention with her and leave her day a little brighter? When I walk up to every woman, how can I leave them a little bit better off than I found them? And if you have that positive intention and that almost like thought about the other person, you're going to see that they just naturally, not all of them, but lots of them start to open up and trust you. One thing that Molly, my girlfriend right now, one thing she said when I first hit on her was, I felt like you weren't trying to get anything from me. I felt like you didn't need anything from me. I felt like you weren't trying to convince me to give you my phone number. I felt like you were just walking up and you would have been equally as happy if I said no as if I said yes. And I literally said to her, yeah, like I wanted you to say no if you weren't interested. I don't want to have a conversation with someone that doesn't want to talk to me. I don't want to go on a date with someone that isn't interested in me. Yeah, I'm grateful for the no's. That's something else that you can do. If you really want people to trust you, whether it's in a dating context or like a business context, be completely and utterly happy when they say no. And that is something that might take some practice. You can literally just search on my channel for the word rejection. I have done like at this point like 30 videos on rejection and how to really appreciate when someone says no to you and not even see it as a rejection, see it as them saying yes to the thing that they want. You know, if they don't want to date you, isn't it brilliant that they're able to say yes to their own integrity and say, I don't want to date this guy, or I don't want to give money to this guy. I know what I want. I would like to hold on to my money and spend it elsewhere, or I would like to hold on to my sexuality and my time and my intimacy and give that elsewhere, or even just keep it for myself and be single. Isn't that great that they know what they want? And so when you can start seeing the word no as a blessing, because it's saving you time, they are doing you a fucking favor. God, guys, let me go on a little mini rant here. So many people in the world, lots of you guys too, and it's completely okay, but so many people in the world get so unbelievably butthurt when they hear the word no. It's like their precious ego shatters and they're like, how could someone reject me? And lots of you guys do the same thing. And again, it's okay. But like, how could someone reject me? How could they say no? Why would this happen? Oh my God. And it's like, calm the fuck down. You want people to say no to you. Do you really want everyone in the entire world to say yes to you at all times? You want to walk up to like every single woman on the planet and she says yes to you. That's what you want, do you? That would quickly become pretty fucking boring. Excuse the French, wouldn't it? Do you guys play video games and enter the cheat codes? Just type in God mode and immediately just cheat your fucking tits off and go, well, this game is pretty boring. Like, we don't want everyone to say yes to us. It becomes boring. There is a part of us that wants a little bit of a challenge, and maybe more importantly, or more to the point, we want to know that the other person wants us, that they find us attractive, that they find us sexual, that they're interested in us, that they want to get to know us. We don't just want everyone to say yes as if they're some puppet who's incapable of saying no. And so you guys and girls secretly want to hear the word no. You just have emotions when it happens. And so if you can practice your stoicism, if you can have that beautiful winner's mindset that I talk about all the time, and there's a link down below to the winner's mindset, or sorry, play to win. The play to win, how I built a winner's mindset video course is down below. But if you can have that play to win winner's mindset, you will go out there and be equally as happy when you hear the word no as when you hear the word yes. You won't see it as a rejection. You'll see it as the other person saying yes to what they want, which is not a personal rejection. That is not the same as them shooting you down or like, oh my God, I got brutally shot down. No, they're just saying yes to what they want. So when you can go out there and be equally as happy when someone says no as when they say yes, then people start to trust you. It feels like the whole world opens up and trusts you. You will sometimes even find that maybe a date or maybe like a business potential client or potential customer, maybe they say no to you at first and you say, beautiful, I love that you know what you want and I love that you know what you don't want. I hope you have a nice day. So many of those people, not most of them, but a certain portion of them come back days, weeks, months, even sometimes years later and say, hey, what's up? And you're like, hey, what's up? And they're like, are you single? Do you want to grab a coffee? And you're like, what the hell? I thought you said no to me. And they're like, yeah, I just wasn't in a good place in my life with dating, but you were so nice to me. You didn't get butt hurt. You left the door open. And now I'm just seeing if you'd like to date again. There's a girl that I'm seeing right now very casually. I've seen her a couple of times in the last couple of months, but she had said no in a very, polite way. She'd said no many, many, many years ago. Imi and I had slept with her one time. We'd seen her a couple of times and slept with her once. Maybe I think we'd slept with her twice. And she then went and dated someone else and it was serious and all of that. And we sent her a really nice message and said, beautiful, we hope you're super happy with him. Thank you for being honest. She messaged me probably like 3 months ago and was like, hey, Andy, like, I don't know if you're still with Imi or like what's happening. Like, hey, what's up? And I was like, hey, do you want to meet up again? And she was like, I'd really like that. Yeah. And so sometimes you will leave the door open and people will come back because you didn't get butthurt. I've had this happen a ridiculous number of times with the coaching, by the way. So often people will be like, man, I really want to sign up for the coaching, but I don't think I can afford it, or now's not the perfect time, or whatever it might be. I'm like, beautiful, man. I hope you have an awesome life. You can keep watching the content if you want for free. Like, yeah, man, just like keep living your life. They will email me like a year later and be like, hey, bro, I know I said no last time, but I have the money. Can I just pay you right now? And I'm like, cool. So if you can be equally as happy with no's as yeses, some people will come back and it will be so unexpected. You'll be like, what the hell? Why did they come back? Because you didn't act like a butthurt, I mean this with love, but child just because someone said no. Another thing that really helps people sort of trust you or open up with you and feel, I guess, safe, because that's kind of what this is. Like, trust is just feeling safe around someone. Another thing that helps in a business or a dating context is to just be consistently you. And now some of you are figuring out who you are. I still am too. I guess every human is trying to explore who they are and who they could be and change things and self-improvement and all of that. But I mean, generally speaking, try and have the same values. Like if you're going to be deeply honest one day, like on my arm, it literally says speak truth. I have a tattoo that says speak truth. If you really care about honesty, I would try and be consistent with that. Don't just like lie one day and then be honest the next, and then say one thing one day and then go back on your word the next day. Like, yes, sometimes human beings change our mind. Yes, sometimes we break promises. We don't mean to. We're all doing the best we can, blah, blah, blah. But try and stick to the same values or virtues across days, weeks, months, and years. And they will be evolving, but try not to just be a chameleon. I guess what I'm trying to say is try not to change yourself too much for each individual person. Like, yes, you'll be flexible. Yes, you'll go with the flow sometimes. You'll be like water, like Jet Li, like be like water, all of that. But try and have some sense of self. And then people feel like they can rely on you in a way, or they know who you are. And they can tell that you're not just trying to say whatever you need to say to get in their pants or say whatever you need to say to get their money. They can see like, no, this guy or this girl is willing to walk away sometimes. They're not willing to compromise their own values and their virtues and who they are. They're willing to turn me or other people down. Wow, I respect that. And then you'll find people can trust you, especially if you get into a relationship, even just a casual relationship. I wouldn't be constantly just like bending over backwards to do everything that your partner wants you to do all the time and you have like no backbone. People use harsh words when they describe that, like simp or like nice guy or cuck or walkover or any of those things or doormat. We don't have to use those words, but I think there is some sense there that we all get of like, I don't want to be the man or the woman that just has like no personality because I'm so busy being flexible, just trying to fit in everyone else and accommodate everyone else's needs. I have dated quite a lot of women who, when they first come to me, they're like insanely agreeable. Molly would be the first person to tell you she was one of these people. And just like very willing to please everyone, like people pleasing and all of that. Some of my coaching clients that come to me are like that. Some of you might be like that. And any women that I date that are like that, I will just gently invite them to start telling me what they want. And a lot of the time they'll say, oh, I just want whatever you want. I'll do whatever you want. And I'm like, no, what would you like? What kind of life would you like to live? What kind of goals would you like to have? And a lot of the time they're like, I don't fucking know, man. I've never been asked this question. I've never thought about what I want. And so I would just keep gently inviting them over the next couple of weeks or months or years to figure out who they want to be. I did the same with my ex, Imi, as well. I invited her to build her own life and figure out who she wanted to be and go in her own direction. And then I helped her with that. So a big part of all of this stuff is you having your own life or your own direction or your own goals or values or principles or whatever you want to call it, like figuring out who you are. And if you're not sure yet, there's plenty of content on my channel that can help with that. Figuring out who you are and then going in that direction. Something else that really builds a lot of trust and safety, and I guess I would say connection, both in business and definitely in dating, is sharing like the journey with people rather than just the destination. What I mean by that is like sharing how you accomplished your goals and how you became the person that you are and how you're still working on yourself, rather than just going around pretending to be like a perfect alpha male or a perfect woman who has her shit together. So what I am basically saying here is share your doubts, share your insecurities, share your uncertainties, share your suffering. Like, talk about the things that you are learning still. Talk about the things that you're still working on. I share that shit on this channel all the time. I've talked about my depression. I've talked about the time I went to prison when I was like 19, 20. Like, I've talked about all of the stuff that I've struggled with. I still to this day tell you guys if I'm feeling really tired. Today is one of those days, by the way. I'm feeling tired as hell. This video might not be as exciting or amazing as my usual ones. I think we got off to a bit of a slow start at this video. There's me literally telling you the honest truth. You know, again, tattoo on my arm says speak truth. I do the same with any women that I'm dating. I told Molly yesterday, hey, I'm feeling a little sad right now in this moment. Here's what I'm feeling sad about. I'm going to do some letting go and work through it and, you know, rise up and all of that sort of stuff, but I want to be honest. And then she in return and other people in return can then be very honest with me, which makes connection and trust and vulnerability and closeness a billion times easier. Do you guys have any idea how much fucking easier it is to date a woman who will just tell you exactly what's on her mind? And you don't have to be like, hey, what's up? And she's like, no, it's fine. Don't worry about it. Like, do you think I date any women who say like, don't worry about it? Like fucking nobody says to me, don't worry about it. My coaching clients never say to me, or they might say it once, and then I'll be like, I'm not worried about it, man. Like, but we're here for you. What are you feeling? And then they'll go, okay, fine. Here's what I'm feeling. Like, nobody says to me, don't worry about it. It's fine. It's fine. Don't, everything's okay. No, I'm fine, honey. Like, nobody says that shit to me because I have said the honest truth to them first, a lot of times. The same with you guys in the audience. You guys open up incredibly deeply and tell me some of your like deepest fears and your insecurities and your pain points and your suffering and stuff you've struggled with for the last like 10 or 20 years. You guys just pour that shit out. Why? Because I pour that shit out to you. And so if you want people to trust you in a business sense or in a dating sense, be honest and open up with them first. And this is one of those things where it's like, you got to go first. Just assume that other people are too scared or too afraid or too, I guess afraid of being vulnerable. Just assume that by default. If you want people to open up to you and trust you, just say like, all right, fuck, I'm going to have to go first. Like that Gandhi quote, like be the change that you want to see in the world. Like literally, you got to be vulnerable first. I know it's scary. Like you don't have to do this, but if you want people to trust you, motherfuckers, just take on that role and say, fine, I'm going to do it. I got to do it first. Fine. It is what it is. I'll just be vulnerable. Something else that really helps is, I guess this is more a business context, but I'll relate it to dating as well. If you want people to trust you, like talk to them, like respond to emails. I respond to, I'm going to say like 95% of the emails that I get. Like if they're asking a genuine question, if I ever feel like I can't really help that person in an email, then I'll say, hey man, jump on a $200 coaching call with me. And by the way, there's a link down below. If any of you want like a really quick call, like I guess it's not quick, like some of them last for like 2 or 3 hours, but like you just want to ask me some questions, you're struggling with something, you just want to get some insight, like there's a link down below where you can just jump on a single coaching call with me. You know, maybe I'll send them that link and say that, but most of the time I will like respond or record them a voice message. I read every single comment you guys leave and I try and respond to like, I don't know, at least 50% of them. I will sometimes do videos addressing your comments. That is literally what this video here today is. I'm literally answering your guys' questions. And just like make videos or make content or make your product or your service, whatever it might be, like make it for the human, not for like the algorithm or the money or the metrics. Like, yes, you might want the algorithm to boost you. Yes, you might want money, like obviously, but like have your customer or your client or your audience or whatever it is as like the first like port of call, like the thing that's on your mind that you're thinking about. I guess you guys are not a thing, but like you guys stick around because to some degree you feel like I see you here on this channel. Like you feel seen, you feel heard, you feel listened to, you probably feel cared about. Yes, I can't know every single one of you, but even in a video where I'm just addressing, you know, a couple of hundred people, you understand that like, yeah, if Andy was to meet me and like we were to chat for a little bit, he'd care about me. Of course I would. I care about each and every one of you. I've even met up with some people, like for fuck's sakes. And I definitely care about my coaching clients because, you know, I get a real chance to get to know them and all of that. You can apply all of this to dating too. You can get to know the person that you're dating, even if it's casual. Like so many people have this idea that a casual relationship means that you can't care about them. You can't get to know them. You just have to like stick it in the hole and like bang, 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 bang. And they'll be like, all right, bitch, get out of here. Like, no, get to know the person, ask questions about their life, say like, what are your hopes and dreams? What do you want from life? Like, who are you? What are your principles? What are your hobbies? Like, what's your favorite music? Like, just ask questions and get to know someone and actually care about them. And you'll feel that they start to trust you. Like trust is built on vulnerability and sharing information, like sharing time or sharing information, sharing space with each other. Like you're literally just hanging out with the person and that builds trust. And you can speed run that process by sharing more and asking more from them, like asking questions like, how was your day? All of that kind of stuff. You will often see me ask you guys questions. In fact, that is what this is. I literally said to you guys, like, what questions do you have about business? And you guys answered. And I asked a question a couple of weeks ago or a month ago. What question do you guys have, or what questions do you guys have about dating? Like, I'm literally asking you guys, share with me, and I'll share back with you in return, and we'll build that beautiful trust and that I can never say this word, reciprocity. I can never say that word. You guys know what I mean. And this next point is like, it's related to business, but I think this applies to dating too. I like to think like give away my best stuff for free. And so you can't do that in every type of business, but you also kind of can do little bits and pieces. You know, if you work, I don't know, like in a cafe or something, like maybe you're not going to give away free food to people as soon as they walk in, but why can't you give away a smile, a warm welcome, give away like air conditioning in the building if it's like in the cafe, if it's a really hot day? I guess in a way you are giving away something for free as soon as they walk in. They get that air conditioning, they get that smile, they get that warm greeting, they get to sit down on a chair and relax, and they haven't even paid you any money yet. They haven't ordered anything. So you're giving away something for free at the start, or something nice. You're being generous first, and then the other person will reciprocate. I obviously have like over 1,000 videos on this YouTube channel. There's like another 500 podcasts on my Spotify. There's like 500 articles on my website on killyourinnerloser.com. I have a bunch of emails on my email newsletter list. Like, I give away as much stuff as I can for free. I've done tons of live streams, blah, 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 right? Like, I'm trying to help as many people as I can for free upfront. And then people give me money if they want to. You can do the same thing in dating. Like, part of how I like to approach women and hit on them is I walk up and I say, hey, you know, I know this is kind of random, or hey, I'm a bit nervous, or just, hey, I thought you were really cute, or I thought you were pretty, or hey, my God, you're so hot. I wanted to say hi. So I am giving something away first. I'm giving a compliment. I am starting with that. And I have sometimes had people say to me, I don't want to compliment a woman immediately. Like, women already have a big ego. Like, why would I want to walk up and make her ego even bigger by giving her a compliment? And I often kind of laugh and I say, yeah, heaven forbid you make someone feel good about themselves. Hey, but basically what that person is saying to me is, I want to hoard things. I want to hoard my own compliments. I want to hold them to myself. I'm not going to give them out freely. I'm going to clutch them to my chest. I'm not going to give anyone anything. And it's like, then why the fuck would anyone give you anything? If you're so precious about a compliment, you literally just say the words, hi, you're pretty. You can't let fucking, what is that? 3 words, hi, you're pretty, fall out of your mouth. Like, you feel like you have so little inside you that you can't say 3 words, hi, you're pretty. If you feel like that, what in the hell makes you think that anyone's going to want to give you anything? If you're walking up saying, I'm not even going to give you 3 words, bitch, what? And you're not saying that literally, I hope. But if you're not even going to say 3 words to her, why the hell should she give you her phone number? Why the hell would she open up and have a generous, big, open, warm heart? And so we lead with the behavior that we're hopefully wanting from the other person. If we want them to be generous with us and give us their time and their space and maybe their body and their sexuality and their mind and their heart and all of those wonderful things that we can share together, and we'll be sharing those things with them too. If we want that from them, we got to go first. I said that in the previous point. If we want people to trust us, if we want people to open up to us, if we want people to give us their money and be generous with their money, why wouldn't we be generous with our smiles, or generous with, you know, like in my case, information? Give it away for free, be generous. And then you're almost gently inviting other people to be generous back. It's like you create goodwill by you going first. Like, you have no idea, you guys, how many people have signed up for the coaching and have literally said, bro, I feel like I owe you money. You've given me so much and changed my life. And I'm like, first of all, look, you don't owe me anything. You're welcome to come to the coaching, but I want to make it clear you don't owe me. And they're like, no, dude, shut up. I just want to give you my money. I've literally had people pay me for coaching and then not come to coaching. They literally say, take this money, I'm not going to show up to the coaching. And I'm like, bro, like, I want you to show up to the coaching. You paid me. And they're like, no, I'm paying you. Like, I have even had someone pay me $10,000 for like one-on-one coaching for like an extended period of time, and he just never used it. And I emailed him multiple times and said, bro, you paid me $10,000. Don't you want to do like a big, huge chunk of coaching with me? And he's like, no. keep it, man. You helped me enough with all the free content. And I was like, holy fuck, dude. Okay, well, I'm just going to keep this. If you can save it for a rainy day. If you ever want to come to the coaching in the future, just hit me up. And he's like, no, I'm good. And so if you are really fucking generous, again, you can just give compliments to women. Just tell her she's pretty, for God's sakes. So many women walk around feeling ugly as sin, just like lots of guys do. And you walk up and you're like, hey, you're super pretty. That might be the day where she was just feeling like the ugliest bitch on the planet. And you made her feel pretty. And maybe she'll turn around and say, wow, thank you. Like, you're really handsome too. And then you're like, oh shit, my be still my beating heart. A beautiful woman just complimented me. And so if we want that behavior from other people, we want them to be nice and generous and warm and open with us, we go first. We do it first. Something else that really helps in a business and a dating sense with trust and all of this kind of stuff is thinking more long term. So like a lot of guys will think, okay, what strategy do I need to do to get money right now? Or what strategy do I need to do to get this pussy right now? I like to think more longer term. Like, who do I actually want to be as a human being? Do I want to be able to look myself in the mirror, like right into my own eyes, and be proud of the reflection that looks back at me? Do I want to be able to lay my head down on the pillow at night and be proud of the decisions that I made that day or that week or that month or that year? And so rather than like thinking, how can I get fast money right now? How can I get people to trust me right now? How can I get that cash right now? Think of more like a longer term strategy, which I guess is kind of what trust is, right? Like trust is more long term. Like I could have said that at the start. Like, how do I get people to trust me? You got to think more long term. Trust takes time to build. It requires some vulnerability. You might have to give things to other people and then see if they want to reciprocate back. You might have to have moments of like deep vulnerability where the other person could hurt you, like you're super vulnerable and they could use that against you, but they don't. They're nice to you. And then you go, oh shit, I trust this person. They could have hurt me, but they didn't. They could have used this as ammunition against me, but they didn't. Same thing in dating. Like think about it more long term. I want to build myself a nice dating profile where the matches start to slowly come in. I want to build a habit of being able to go outside and just talk to even one woman a day, just a couple of women a week. Like more than that will obviously get you better results. If you can talk to like 30 women a week, you'll get way more results. But even just a baseline of like, I just want to talk to a few women a week and just have that sort of ticking over in the background all the time, like always, you'll think more long term. Rather than saying, I want to inject a bunch of steroids and run to the gym and build a body in the next 6 months, which if you want to do that, nothing against that, beautiful. But like, think longer term. How do I build my body, my fashion, my style, my health, my happiness, my self-love over the next like 1 to 5 years, rather than just in the next 3 months. So if you're thinking a little bit more long-term in dating, you will make better decisions that will pay off in the long run, and they'll pay off in the short term as well. You're not neglecting the short term. I would never tell anyone to do that, but you are at the same time building almost like a legacy. You're building, especially in business, you're building a brand name. Like if I tried to just get as much money from you guys right now without giving you anything, like I was just trying to use sales techniques on you, and full disclosure, I have done that many times, like especially fucking years ago, I used to be quite aggressive with the sales tactics, but I try not to do that shit anymore. If I was to just try and get a bunch of money, like wouldn't I sort of almost hurt the brand name a little bit? Like to some degree, you guys feel like you're somewhat safe here. That like, yeah, Andy will mention the coaching in every video. He'll mention his Play to Win video course and all of that. But he's not going to hate on me if I don't ever give him a single dollar. He'll love me equally, just as much. Have the same mindset in dating, so that women can start to feel like, yeah, this guy doesn't need anything from me. Again, Molly said, when you first hit on me, Andy, it felt like you weren't trying to get anything from me. And then they'll feel safer opening up. They'll feel safer having sex with you. They'll feel safer dating you and all of that sort of stuff. Something else, I guess, really related to that helps is respecting people's autonomy, respecting the word no. I said that before, but if a viewer or a client or a customer says no to you, respect that. Like help them feel good about that decision. Like literally say to them, I'm so glad you said no. I don't want any customers to give me money if they don't want to give me money. I'd feel bad. Thank you for helping me feel good. And people will be like, is this a trick? Why are you saying no to, why are you saying it's a good thing that I said no to you? Are you trying to steal my money from me? Is this a reverse psychology thing? And you're like, no, I can't be bothered doing that shit, man. I want you to say no if you don't want to spend your money on me. I don't like spending my money on shit that I don't want. Why the fuck would I want you to spend your money on me if you don't want to? And people will go, yeah, thanks, man. I guess that makes sense. And then again, some of those people will leave and come back a year later. And that's not why we're doing it, but we are doing it so that we can sleep better at night. So we feel good about the decisions or the business or whatever that we're building. Same with dating. If a woman says, no, thanks, I have a boyfriend, you'd be like, beautiful. I hope you guys are happy together. You have no idea how many women are going to get really confused when you say that. They're like, thanks. Thank you. Like they're really confused because that is not the response that they normally get. If a guy hits on them like in a bar or a club or out on the street or at a meetup or whatever, most guys get really butthurt when she says, I have a boyfriend. They're like, oh, that's a shame. Oh, he's a lucky guy. Like, oh, that's such a pity. Like they're used to that kind of response. So many girls are like, oh, I'm sorry, I have a boyfriend. Every time I'm like, why would you be sorry that you have a boyfriend? That sounds beautiful. And they're like, yeah. And so if you can be happy when people say no, you feel better about what you're doing. And then the side effect is that people trust you more, but that's almost like irrelevant. You're doing it more for you so that you feel good in the decisions that you're making in your business or your dating life. I think that's about all I have to say. There's probably a million more things I could say on building trust, in dating or business, but yeah, it's basically a lot of the stuff that we talk about here on this channel, a lot of the stuff that we do here on this channel. And watch this. I'll give you guys the most perfect example of everything that I've just said. If you would like any more help with any of this, I have a couple of different coaching options. Those are all down below. We have big, hardcore, VIP coaching where you get to work with me directly every single day. We also have the Abundance Collective, which is our more sort of affordable option for $200 a month. Both of those are down below. I have the Play to Win video course and all of that beautiful stuff. If you would like to check those out, if you would like to turbocharge your success and all of that, I and the other coaches are here for you. If you don't want any of that, namaste. That is beautiful too. There you go, guys. That is how you build a beautiful audience that trusts you. I really appreciate questions like this. If you guys have any questions about business or dating or sex or relationships or kink or whatever the hell it might be, feel free to leave a comment down below. I can't guarantee that I will do videos on every single comment, but I'm feeling like connecting with you guys more a little bit because I haven't done a video in over a week. I've been really busy and shit. So I kind of miss you guys. I'll be honest. Miss you guys a lot. So feel free to leave comments. I probably will do videos on your comments. Yeah, I kind of feel more connected when I do a video answering you guys' questions. So as always, go out there, crush those goals, and have a bloody good time